into the Potter Valley Healthcare District regular meeting. Rosie, can you give us a roll call?
Here.
Here. Here. I am going to give a reminder. As you all likely know, these meetings are publicly broadcast via Zoom, even in the case that the public is not physically present. Please consider that participants may be virtual and the meeting is recorded and posted for public viewing later. We had no closed session, so there's no report at a closed session. Do we have any agenda modification consideration from staff or board? No, none there. So we're going to go into public comment on items not on today's healthcare district agenda. Anything? Rosie, no hands raised. So we're going to move on to comments from board members. Any comments from board members at this time? Seeing none, we're going to go to the consent calendar. And we have 5 items on the consent calendar. Is there any questions for staff before I open this up for public comment?
I just have a comment to add for item 3, not a question. I don't need to pull it, it can stay.
Okay.
Just a comment reflecting that included in item 3 are our consolidated audit reports for the district. We had a clean, unqualified audit that was issued to us. There are no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, no reportable findings, no audit adjustments, no management difficulties reported or otherwise, no disagreements with management between the auditor and staff. So a lot of good no's. What is notable is that we are on watch for an ongoing concern. That's just a statement that as of the year that ended December 2023, not everything in our financial plan was implemented yet. And we were continuing to implement that. So as of December 2023, the auditor went through a pro forma modeling that indicated that the district and the hospital are both a going concern. So that's just in the report. It's something we are aware of and staff are aware of it and we're all going through it. And it's just right now for us, it's a reflection of where we were in time and not where we're going in time. So with that, I just want to add those comments to the record because a lot of reports important to call down. Thank you.
Thank you. No other questions, and move on to the public for public comment. No attendees online. Anyone public comment on the items on the agenda? Okay.
Good evening, Chair, Nunez, and members of the board. June Ponce, Executive Director of Potter Valley Healthcare District Project, Watsonville Community Hospital Foundation. You will see we have 2 board members who are eager to support the hospital and organization. Andrea Carlos Willie, who is the impact and officer for the school district. We're super excited to have her join us and support the work that the hospital and the district does, as well as Deputy Director for County District Attorney's Office, Crystal Salcido, also a City Council board member for the City of Watsonville. She's also thrilled they were able to join us in January for our foundation strategic board meeting, and of course are eager to roll up their sleeves and support the hospital foundation and moving our organization forward. So they're excited and thrilled. They apologize for not being able to be here today, but they're just willing and able to support the work that we're all doing.
Thank you. Any other public comments on items on the consent calendar? No? Okay, I'll bring it back for a motion, but before that, I just want to echo what June said. Both when I saw Andrea and Crystal's name pop up for this, I was very excited. 2 really great, just an incredible two incredible advocates for our community, for the healthcare district, and for health in general in our area. So June, thanks so much for continuing to fill the board of the foundation with incredible thinkers as well too, of how do we make this, how do we continue to build out this foundation in the way that we need it to be filled out. So thanks so much for your work on that. And with that being said, if no other comments, I'll take a motion for the consent calendar.
I thought I saw a public comment. Oh, never mind. It was a tail. The hand.
So moved. Unless Marcus already moved with
I
that.
didn't, I was distracted. Second. Squirrel.
Director Cox? Yes. Director Gallagher?
Yes.
Director Pimentel?
Yes.
Chair Nunez?
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to discussion items, item number 6, and this is going to be a presentation from CEO Steve Gray. It's the Pajaro Valley Healthcare District External Partnerships.
All right, thank you, Chair Nunez. So in our district bylaws, one of the key tenets is that we shall, quote, "to be an advocate for the healthcare needs and interests of the residents of the district and support community-based healthcare and wellness services in the district." With the bond measure hopefully to be certified as passed soon, we'll have the capital to right some wrongs from the past. We'll have some funds available to build for the future. And financially, you've seen that we've had a strong first couple of months of the year. So therefore, now is the perfect time during a time of strength to explore and listen to possibilities to do more. Are there opportunities to share non-clinical resources with other organizations? Are there opportunities to partner with another healthcare organization to improve our electronic medical record system? Who out there might be able to help us recruit more physicians to the area and bring more services to the Pajaro Valley and our residents? It's possible that we could accomplish all of those things on our own, slowly over time. But we owe it to the communities we serve to explore ways we might be able to accelerate the growth and enhancement of their healthcare district. The district's original strategic plan repeatedly calls out the importance of partnerships to optimize our chances of success. And we must do so while maintaining the public trust, public oversight, and public ownership of the district and the hospital. So I recommend that the board forms an ad hoc committee to explore potential opportunities like any of these for our district. And I'll happy to take any questions or have any conversation about it.
Any questions for Steve about this item? Seeing none, I'm going to open up to public comment on this. No, I don't see anyone online. No cats either. And I'm going to open it up for public here. Any public comment? No. So I'll bring it back to the board for this item. And so we have to consider pass a motion for one, to create the ad hoc committee for this external partnerships. And then also to item 2 is to appoint 2 board members to the committee. And so Noel, can we do these in one fell swoop, or do we have to do these as 2 separate items?
You can do them all at once.
So I'm gonna follow Steve's recommendation on the first item to create the ad hoc committee. My recommendation would be to appoint Dr. Joe Gallagher and myself to serve on this ad hoc committee. So I'm gonna make that that motion.
Second?
Director Cox? Yes. Director Gallagher?
Yeah.
Director Pimentel?
Yes.
Chair Nunez?
Yes. Okay, thank you. We're gonna move on to item number 7, and this is the Pajaro Valley Healthcare District Bond Measure Use and Ad Hoc Committee Update. Stephen?
And that has my name on it, but I think that either Chair Nunez or Director Pimentel are ready to give that.
Go ahead, Marcus.
That summary.
Yeah, so some of this is repeated from a prior board report, but our good friend and former chair, John Creel, established a bond measure and use committee in September That committee reviewed the results of the July polling from 2023 that indicated that there was a strong voter support, and interest in a small sample size, of a bond measure. That ad hoc committee then went through the logistics of what this district needed to do to bring the bond measure to fruition, leading with the board at their November meeting, November 27th, approving and placing on the March 5th, 2024 election Measure N. That was labeled by the county as Measure N. Measure N has not yet been certified, but we expect it to pass and still well over the required threshold in both counties. With the passage of Measure N and with the presumed passage of Measure N pending certification probably next week, the ad hoc is dissolved. This would be the last element of the ad hoc. We put the ballot measure on and let the voters decide. Should the Measure N continue to be successful and certified next week, we expect there would likely be a new ad hoc that would be formed that would guide the next processes, including forming an oversight, appointing an oversight committee, initially bring in recommendations, policy, and bylaws are forgetting my point of reference. Bring in the guiding documents of which the oversight committee would work, the size, the duration, and their purpose and scope. So the ad hoc would pull that all together and then ultimately make a recommendation to the board on who would be appointed to the bond use oversight committee. So there would be new work to be done, and we expect with the certification next week that at the next board meeting would be the right time to consider appointing the ad hoc. I don't want to jinx anything yet by taking action today, but I just really want to appreciate the staff. And once again, as I said at the opening comments of the hospital board meeting, just in sheer gratitude for all the voters who clearly have supported Measure N. Nearly 70% of voters have said yes. Great gratitude to all the donors who contributed to the success of Measure N, to the volunteers in this room and the volunteers who aren't in this room, who all put signs, made phone calls, walked, made presentations. It was probably watching it being set up as one of the most challenging bond measures to put together, both with the speed and timing, and the newness of a new district where voters were still trying to understand what the district is, what that relates to the hospital, and by the way, where is the hospital? You know, there just a lot of education, and I think we've ultimately reached over 50,000 people through Measure N, and at nothing less than letting them know more about the success of the hospital and the path we're going. So I think it was successful on all fronts, and I applaud everybody in the work, and happen to know the couple people to my left that did a lot of work. So I appreciate both of you deeply for the time that you found over and over again. So thank you.
Okay, any questions or comments for Marcus on that report?
I have a comment. I thought it was a fabulous amount of fun. You know, you guys dealt with the deadlines, but in terms of a group who was all focused on the same goal and having people work together and sort of willingly, I'll do this, you do that, we're going to do this together. I thought it was spectacular. Thank you both for all the work that made it possible for the rest of us to do the rest of it.
Definitely. Okay, I can speak for Steve when I say that we were working to get the measure onto the ballot up until the last second.
And then some.
And then some. So a lot of work,
Yeah.
not just from the board and volunteers, but from your staff as well too, Steve, administration all the way down. So more work to be done, right? As there always is, but thanks everyone for their work, and there's no other comments. Then we'll move on to item number 8.
Look forward to celebrating this at some point in the
At
very
some
near
point in the
future.
very near future. Yep. So we'll move on to item number 8. It's our last item for the night. It's the Pajaro Valley Healthcare District Board Member Vacancy. This is Steve.
This is me again.
Okay.
So as you know, and as we've discussed on March 19th, 2024, 2 days prior to his passing away peacefully at home, PVHCD Director John Friel resigned from the PVHCD Board of Directors effective immediately and prior to the end of his 2024 term for which he was appointed. The California Government Code provides 4 options to fill his vacancy. 1 is the board appoints within 60 days of notification. 2 is the board calls for an election. 3 is the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors appoints within 90 days. Or 4 is the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors calls for an election. Option 1 would prove to be the most cost-effective and efficient method for filling this vacancy. Per California Government Code 1780-D-1, the remaining members of the district board shall make the appointment pursuant to this subdivision within 60 days after either the date on which the district board is notified of the vacancy or the effective date of the vacancy, whichever is later. So therefore, the deadline for appointing a new PVHCD board member is May 17th, 2024. The appointment process would consist of the following steps. Step 1 would be to call for applicants to submit an application. Step 2, to review the qualified applications by the board. And step 3, for the board to vote for the candidate to appoint. So I'd ask that the board pass a motion approving that the remaining board members appoint 1 new PVHCD board member to complete the 2024 term by May 17th. If you do vote for that motion, we will then post the board member application process online and in prominent places in the public over the next 15 days to secure candidates to fill the seat. And then hopefully we would be ready to vote on them at our April meeting, which takes place before the May 17th deadline.
Okay, any questions for Steve about the process or the vote? Or go out for public comment? Go ahead.
Logistics about the evaluating, et cetera, et cetera. And we get a look at it, is it ad hoc? Sorry.
So we
So
didn't,
how do we do the
we
logistics?
didn't recommend forming an ad hoc committee because of the timing,
Got it.
to be able, and so we would be able to, Rosie would be able to send electronically the applications, and you'd have 2 weeks to review them before the April 24th or April, whatever our April date is.
I
Board
believe
meeting.
the applicant information will all be posted with the board materials for the next meeting. So that's about 5 days prior on the night that Friday is, and that's when you would have those materials when they are public.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so logistically, just to be able to combine all that, however many applications we get, and then have it ready the week before the board meeting, yeah, for the packet. Works 15 days, we thought was a good enough time. Any other questions about the process for Steve? We're going to public comment. Okay, we're gonna open it up. I still don't see any hands raised online. Any public comment about this item? Or bring it back for a vote? No? Okay, so I will go ahead.
Sorry, I have a late question.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is for clarity, but do we have an idea of what the application process looks like when somebody clicks this box to go online? Will there be a form option? Is it only digital?
It's not an online form option, and it will just be digital, since our window is short, we don't want things to get lost in the mail or a deadline to be missed, so we consider all that.
And what information are we requiring? We asking folks to write a little, here's why me statement in addition to some minimum.
Aside from just personal contact information, we're looking for like the residents and the boundaries, education, such as institution, degree, major, as such, any licensures from governing bodies, elected members, and years active, work and volunteer experience, why they're interested in serving as a director for the district, and describe any relevant experience they have in healthcare administration, business administration, community or public health, clinical or medical practice, and or community building, and describe any volunteer experience they have that relates to healthcare or public health. The
Thank you.
basic one, based on the process that had occurred over years.
I'm thinking of a couple boxes, but maybe I can talk offline. Just have a checkbox, yes, no. Have they served as an elected official? Yes, no. Have they served as an officer on a board? But that sounds pretty good. So, thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Any comments, any questions for a call for, go ahead.
I just have one question. So will that seat go up for election in November, and
Yes.
will we make sure that we inform the applicants?
Yes, and that's part of the information that will be communicated as well, that this term will, the time that they are appointed will finish once the November election results are certified. And the board changes over.
We'll also remind them that this is a not unpaid job.
But like they
And
have
it's a
to,
really wonderful
yeah,
volunteer.
and you have to file in August, like all the things.
Yes. yeah.
Sometimes I think it's more than we,
There are filing requirements.
So it would be eligible then to, okay.
That's part of that information will come as part of the onboarding process.
Okay, any other questions or comments about the process? If not, then I'll look for a motion. And
move to approve option 8, or item 8. as
Second.
stated.
Director Cox,
Yes.
Director Tucker,
Yes.
Director Pimento,
Yes.
Chair
yes, thank you, and I will adjourn today's meeting.
Thanks. Mitch.
Thanks, Noel.
Um,